Okay, so today we're going to talk about doing your voiceover or narration when it's just you recording. All you need to do is record your voice, and you have control over the time you do that and where you do that. So you want to get the best possible sound. You really want to get that studio quality sound. Well, in the field test video that I did, I demonstrated using this reporter's microphone and a Tascam recorder, and we actually got pretty good audio, even for the field, even outside with all that noise, we got pretty good audio. And this is the exact kit that we started the podcasting program with. This used to be the only thing that you had available because it's a workhorse. It works really well in the field, and it works really well as a studio mic too. You can just sit here in your apartment, in your dorm, in your house, and record your voiceover, and it's going to sound good. This sounds good. This is workable audio. But, it is kind of a pain to use the Tascam because then you need to stop recording. You need to insert the SD card or plug it in through USB and download the audio and import that into Audition. And yeah, it sounds like that would be easy to do if you're doing one recording, but when you're doing multiple recordings or you record something and then an hour later you want to re-record something, you need to do the whole process over again. So it's really not the most convenient setup, even though it's a very decent sounding setup. So I have this other mic recording, and that's another way that you could do voiceover. So in the studio video, I talked about setting up this studio microphone that we took from the podcast studio, and you can use the boom arm that clips to the desk, and you can use a Tascam recorder to plug the microphone in and record your audio that way. And the nice thing there is that you don't need to hold the reporter microphone. This is a really superior microphone compared to the reporter stick microphone. So you're going to be getting a better sound quality here, but same issue. You're going straight into the Tascam and then you got to download it from the Tascam. The way I get around it, this is my personal mic, which is actually the same exact one as the podcast studio, because once I saw how affordable and good of a microphone that is, I got one for myself for my own operation. I record straight into Audition. So as I record into this mic, I'm not going through the Tascam. I'm just recording straight into Audition, which is super convenient because when I'm done, I instantly have the audio file. I can go back and scrub it. I can find out mistakes I made and redo something. I could punch in a replacement word or replacement sentence. But in order to do that, I need to go through a mixer. I have to put that XLR microphone into a mixer and find the level and then USB back into the computer. So this is kind of a permanent setup for me. This is something that I use regularly, so I did that setup, and it is very easy for me just to punch in a recording. You probably don't have that setup, but I want to mention it because that might be something you want to invest in. If you play an instrument, you sing, you want to do podcasting regularly, it's probably worth getting a good microphone and a mixer that has USB out and doing your recording that way. I am willing to bet everyone in the class doesn't have a setup like this because that's pretty rare unless you are some kind of audiophile or you're in a hobby or an industry that does a lot of audio. So what's the middle ground solution is we have these USB desktop microphones that you can do your voiceover through, and it just plugs straight into your computer through USB. Think of the Blue Yeti, which you probably see in Twitch videos and people's YouTube channels. They have the Blue Yeti or they have some other USB microphone. Some people even have microphones that look like this one that are USB straight into the computer. Doing USB straight into the computer is great for solo voiceover work. If you're hosting a channel, you're doing your own podcast, you're narrating something, you want to do voiceover for your animation or for a video you made, this is the way to go because it's simple. It's just the microphone with USB out. And this microphone is great. It's got a very solid base, so it'll fit right on your desk and it won't topple over or move anywhere. And then you just speak directly into the microphone and it'll record in Audition. And the nice thing, like I said before, is then you have your recording. You can easily start and stop new recordings and so forth. So what's the catch? There's always a catch, right? Well, the reason I'm not recording into this right now is because we have an issue with room noise. And I'll show you that in a second when I actually do plug this in and start recording. But room noise is something that we can actually fix pretty easily. So I'm going to show you how to set this up and how to maximize the environment noise around you so that this mic works for you and not against you. Okay, so I pulled my laptop out so that I could show you a little bit more about how this setup will work. It's pretty simple. You use the Rode microphone, USB out, goes straight into your computer. you just want to map the microphone when you're in Audition, and that's by going to Edit, go down to Preferences, Audio Hardware, make sure you select for the input, the Rode for the output, make sure you just select whichever way you want the output, which could be the headphone jack on the microphone itself. So you can plug your headphones in there. You'll just want in Audition in that Audio Hardware for the output to also be selected as the Rode desktop microphone. So that's it. And then you can start doing your voiceover, right? Because everything sounds great. But there's a problem. Do you hear that? My voice doesn't really sound as good as it sounded with the previous setup when I was using the reporter microphone or when I was using, my preferred favorite microphone. And look, I'm not talking that far from the microphone. So what is it? This almost sounds comparable to like if I were using, a mic that were really far away. It's the room noise. So let me just take a second here and show you that I am not in the best space I possibly could be in. I am in my basement. That's where I do all of my work. And if you notice something about my basement, it's all hard walls. It's hard floor, it's hard walls. And then if you'll remember in the studio video, I shared with you that I have vents and the furnace is going on and off, and it's just really echoey. So it's not the best environment for me to do this recording. So let's try to find a room environment that's a little bit more suitable, and then you'll see the magic of this microphone really kind of come to life. So one of the things that I love about podcasting is that if you're like me and you have a face for radio, it doesn't really matter what's going on around you visually because no one's ever going to see it. So the fact that I'm, wearing a hat because my hair is all messed up, and the fact that I'm in this plain looking bedroom won't really matter. All that matters is if I'm getting good sound. And now you can see I'm getting a lot better sound than I was before because I'm in a bedroom. The bedroom has curtains. It's got the comforter here. It's got pillows. If you have closets, the closets will have clothes in them. My closet is bare, and it's a much smaller room. So I am able to control the noise in here a lot better. And you'll see I'm not talking any closer or further away to the mic, yet the audio is going to sound a lot better. I could even do better. I could go inside a closet or inside a pantry, and the immediateness of all the clothes and the different boxes and food, storage containers, if you're in a pantry, are going to absorb a lot of that sound. Okay, so to put my money where my mouth is, I actually moved into my closet. The bedroom I was in before is a guest bedroom, and it was pretty plain. Your bedroom probably has more things on the wall and things in the closet. So here I am, I'm in the closet. If you haven't spotted, the mic is right here, and I'm still recording into the computer. So I'm not that much further away from the mic, but now I'm even in an even smaller space, and all of these clothes and shoes are going to really dampen that sound. So I'm getting almost no reflection off the walls. There is a mirror straight in front of me on the door, so I might be getting a little bounce back off of that, but otherwise this is a great sound environment. So really you have control with the things in your house for making it sound as good as possible. So if you reserve this microphone, which I encourage you to do for your voiceover and your narration because it's easy to set up and it's a durable microphone, I just highly encourage you to take that extra second to go into a closet. And I know that being a former college student, that might mean you're sitting down in your closet with, your jacket hanging over your head. I remember doing my narration that way too. And it's worth the extra effort. Make it a little bit comfortable for yourself, get in your booth and do your recording, and you're really going to thank yourself for taking the extra effort to make it sound good, because having an empty sounding narration, having that echo off the walls just doesn't sound professional and won't give your podcast the professional look it deserves. So find that space in your house where it's best sounding, set it up, and record straight into the computer, and you'll be golden. And this room is somewhere in the middle because there's still a lot of blank walls. If I had some padding on the walls and if it were a studio, there'd be sound dampening. All that stuff is just to absorb your sound waves so that they don't bounce back into the microphone. And that's what creates reverb. When you use a reverb effect, it's creating that bounce back for you. So most of the time we want to eliminate that. And yeah, I could take this mic and I could get really close to it and kind of cup it near my mouth and talk directly into it. But now you're getting a lot of mouth noise and lips smacking, and it sounds kind of breathy. So it's really not the best way to go about doing it anyway. You want to be talking a little bit more naturally in a natural sounding volume, a presentation volume, if you will, about a foot away from the microphone, 8 inches away from the microphone, something like that. So when you do that and you're in a hard surface room, like I was just outside the bedroom here, you're going to get a lot of bounce back and echo. When you're in a bedroom or a living room that has big fluffy couches or curtains that are closed, you're going to absorb a lot of that bounce back sound and you're really going to enjoy the final product. So this is a good microphone. You might just be using it in the wrong space. And that's something you really want to pay attention to when you're doing your podcast.